Hey, it's me, Hrishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Hrishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
I am not one for war, and I think it should be left to the individual to judge whether it's right for them to join the army or not, whether they want to be in a war or not. I don't think war is a solution. I don't believe it is. Gandhiji, our own Gandhiji, proved it that you can fight violence with non-violence. So I don't romanticize war. I don't romanticize soldiers. And if kids are not going into the army, more power to them. There's a way to diplomatically solve issues. It's more possible now than ever before. I don't think anybody can afford a war anymore.
Abhay Deol, Annup Sonii and Akash, wonderful to see you guys. Abhay, how's the Goa life? Are you back in Bombay?
I'm in neither space right now. I won't say where I am. If you don't know, then great.
I love your life. I love your life. Beautiful. Anup, all well? Huh?
All good, yeah. All good.
And wonderful to see you, Akash. And
Yes,
even
sir.
before we started the interview, to have conversations about our mutual favorite chaplain who's there on your wall. Wonderful. Listen, Abhay, I have very little to go by other than the trailer, which is good, you know.
Yeah.
But what I see from the trailer is just some master. I know the series is about emotions and a whole lot more, but just the stunts are so Saving Private Ryan-esque. They're just wonderful. So let's start with the stunts and stunt director. And all these action sequences couldn't have been easy to do even on the set, despite there being post-production to play with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, stunts are always a difficult thing. I was actually recovering from a back injury, so I couldn't do as much as I would like to, but it was a good testing ground for me to see, am I healing or not? And I could see that I was getting better, but I wasn't in top shape to be able to do a lot of it. Don is an amazing choreographer, stunt director. He's so dedicated to his work. He's a tough guy. He understands. He's more realistic in his approach to action than he is over the top, which is another refreshing thing to see. I'm just super thrilled with it.
Anup, the transition from script to shoot, with a lot of directors, what happens is the script is sacrosanct. You read that document and then you get to the shoot and you pretty much follow that sequence. With Mahesh, was it a lot different from the reading of it to the execution of it scene by scene?
I personally feel Mahesh ji kind of keep rewriting the script on the sets also. There are a lot of times when the scene is written, but his assistants will read the scene and then he'll say, "Nahi, yahan ye hona chahiye, nahi, kaam karo, isko aise bolna hai, ye bolega, ye bolega." So he has the crux of the scene in his mind and he knows what he actually wants to convey from that scene. So if any time he feels that the written lines are not being able to convey what he wants to project as a director from that particular scene, he will immediately change the scene. So there are times when we are sitting in the vanity and you get the scene on your WhatsApp from the assistant director that this is the scene now, there is a change in lines now. So you read your lines on WhatsApp and then come back on the set. And so I think he keeps changing. His mind keeps working because his whole funda is that the scene should convey what we want to say.
And obviously that doesn't disturb you at all, Abhay Deol. You've worked with all sorts of directors. People who come there even without scripts and just do stuff, if you know what I'm talking about.
I've never worked with anybody who does not come with a script, but yes, I have. I've worked with all sorts. You're right about that. In all sorts of scenarios. Yeah.
करेक्ट. आकाश, आई बिलीव आप फौज में भर्ती होना चाहते थे, आपने कोशिश भी की, तो ये आपके लिए बहुत मायने रखता होगा ये शो, खास करके वर्दी पहनकर इतने सारे सीन्स परफॉर्म करना एज एन आर्मी ऑफिसर. उसके बारे में बात कीजिए प्लीज.
जी सर, मतलब मैं हर बार अभी यही बोल रहा हूँ कि ये मेरा बचपन से सपना रहा है कि आर्मी में भर्ती होना है, मुझे जाना है, वर्दी पहनना है, ये सब बचपन से रहा है. और मैंने दो बार भर्ती ट्राई भी किया है, उसके बाद पुलिस में भी ट्राई किया है. और जब मुझे ये रोल ऑफर हुआ था तब मतलब उससे पहले एक बात बोलूं कि मैं एक्टर बनने के बाद मैंने शायद सोचा था कि अब ये सपना ही रहेगा कि आर्मी बनने का. बट जब ये रोल ऑफर होने के बाद मुझे लगा यस यार, अभी चलो कोई बात नहीं, रियल लाइफ में ना सही रील में तो हम कर रहे हैं. और उसके बाद जब ये रोल प्ले कर रहा था और फर्स्ट टाइम जब मैंने ये वर्दी पहनी थी, तो मुझे ऐसा मतलब अंदर से कुछ गर्व महसूस हो रहा था खुद पे, और ऐसा प्राउड मोमेंट होता है ना खुद के लिए। और एक बात बताओ, ऐसा पर्सनली मैंने फील किया, जब आप आर्मी की वर्दी पहनते हो तो अपना मतलब सीना अपने आप चौड़ा हो जाता है, आपकी चाल बदल जाती है, ऐसे मैंने फील किया था खुद में। और ये फर्स्ट टाइम वर्दी पहनने के बाद मैं ऐसे ही चल रहा हूँ, खुद को सैल्यूट कर रहा हूँ, और ये सब मेरे साथ हो रहा था, और ये सब बातों का मुझे मतलब बहुत मजा आ रहा था, और मैंने पर्सनली बहुत एंजॉय किया।
Did you also film in Ladakh, Abhay? I know there was Panchgani, there was Y, there was Ladakh. Did you also go to Ladakh?
Yeah. We started with Ladakh actually.
Would you tell me a little bit about that? You know, because friends who've been there, I've never unfortunately been there. They say that the air is a little rare. It takes you a few days to acclimatize even before you know, hit the ground running.
I don't remember if it was 2 days or 1 day, but there was 1 or maybe 2 days you had to sit and acclimatize before you could do anything. And they just recommend you stay in your room and you don't move around too much. I didn't feel anything, or at least I didn't think I did. You'd only feel it when you had to walk longer distances and run or something. And you realize, oh yeah, I'm a little bit more out of breath than I normally would be on the ground. But because, like I said, did I say it already in this interview, that I was recovering anyways from an injury, so I wasn't doing too much running and walking in any case. So I didn't feel anything much, but there were people apparently who'd fallen sick and all. But it's beautiful. It is every bit as stunning as they describe it. As you said, people have told you never been. I was the same boat as you. Oh, it's beautiful. The houses there, the sand, the dirt, the colors. It's purple and brown mud and all of those. And I'm like, really? Yeah, this is just exaggeration. Until you get there and you realize it's not an exaggeration. It just really is that amazing.
And I believe it's stark. You know, it's like it's not a frills fancy kind of place, and that must be quite unique. You know, just having those stark mountains and
it's extremely like that, but it has its own beauty, you know, because of that.
Yes. Anup, I know it's based on a true story, but it's still wonderful for all of us to know the sacrifices these Jawans made for the country. Just a little bit about that. I believe they were climbing up mountains with just canvas shoes. You know, these 25 taking on these Chinese soldiers. So just a little bit about the premise of the story, please.
See, I think this war happened when we were just 15 years old as an independent country, you know, in 47 to 62, I think just 15 years. So I think the whole energy of, you know, being very passionate about for your own country, fighting for your own country was all there. But I think we were not fully equipped as far as the resources were concerned, the technique, you know, whether you call it weapons, proper shoes, proper, you know, whatever equipment you need to fight a war. So I think that जिसको बोलते हैं ना जज्बा बहुत था, लेकिन वो उस तरीके से facilities उतनी नहीं थी, but वो शायद जज्बा ही था जिसकी वजह से, you know, that those 26 people fought with 3,000 Chinese. So I think ये कहानी उस जज्बे की ज्यादा है.
आकाश, आप तो महेश सर के साथ पहले भी काम कर चुके हैं, तो बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा होगा. टोटली डिफरेंट, बहुत अलग कहानी थी, बहुत अलग फिल्म थी. उनके साथ दूसरी बार काम करने का तजुर्बा, मतलब ऑटोमेटिक सिलेक्शन हुआ आपका कि इसके लिए भी काफ़ी, आपने कहा वर्दी तो पहनी आपने, लेकिन उसके अलावा कुछ राउंड्स हुए कास्टिंग के ऑटोमेटिक सिलेक्शन हो गया कि एक बार काम कर चुके हैं हम लोग?
नहीं सर, एक बार तो उनके साथ काम कर चुका था, और अचानक से उनका एक बार मुझे फोन आया और ऐसा बोला था मुझे कि ऐसे सीरीज कर रहा हूँ और ऐसा रोल है. तो मैंने सोचा कि हाँ मैं करूंगा, और जब मैं उनसे मिला तो उन्होंने बस 2 मिनट में से स्टोरी बता दी थी कि ऐसा तेरा कैरेक्टर है और अच्छा कैरेक्टर. तो मैंने बस बोला हाँ मुझे करना है. और महेश सर के साथ काम करना, मतलब इससे एक बार मतलब काम कर चुका हूँ, तो मतलब आप जब किसी डायरेक्टर के साथ काम करते हो तो उनको पता होता है कि इस एक्टर से कैसे काम कर लेना है, या फिर मुझे पता है कि महेश सर को क्या अच्छा लगता है और क्या मेरा अच्छा नहीं लगता है, तो मैं वैसी गलती नहीं करूंगा. तो ये मुझे पता था, तो वो मुझे टेंशन नहीं था कि अभी सेट पे जाके मैं कोई गलती करूं या फिर वैसा कुछ काम करूं जिससे सर खुश ना हो, मतलब. तो फिर हाँ ये सब चलता था, और फिर उसी के हिसाब से मैं काम करता था. और महेश सर की और एक बात है, हमें जब पहले स्क्रिप्ट मिलती थी, अनूप सर ने भी बोला वो कि उसके बाद सेट पे जाके पूरी स्क्रिप्ट चेंज होती थी, इसमें से कोई डायलॉग नहीं रहता था, पूरा का पूरा चेंज होता था. तो फिर वैसे फिर से तैयारी करते थे.
अब असली बात पता लगी है. हाँ. अनूप जी थोड़ा डिप्लोमेटिक हो रहे थे, मतलब कोई तालमेल ही नहीं है. चलिए अच्छी बात है, ग्रेट स्टाफ. हाँ बोलिए. तो सेट पे
पर
पहुंचते
इससे
तो बिल्कुल
इससे कुछ
अलग।
नया सीखने को मिला। मतलब ये आदत नहीं थी कि आप सेट पे जाके रेडी हो जाओ फिर वहां पे डायलॉग पढ़ो, वहां पे तो डायरेक्टली था आप जाओ और करके आओ, ऐसा था वो।
Abhay, I know cinema's primary job is to entertain, and I don't want to unnecessarily intellectualize this thing, but I was really reading somewhere that despite our love and respect for the armed forces, all of us do love our 4Gs, recruitment has fallen. Kids are still gravitating to the so-called glamorous professions like mine, which is the media, yours, which is acting, producing. You think if more series and films are made in the right manner on the forces, it will motivate young cadets and kids to go out there and join the army. Just your thoughts on that.
I wouldn't join the army. I am not one for war. And I think it should be left to the individual to judge whether it's right for them to join the army or not, whether they want to be in a war or not. I don't think war is a solution. I don't believe it is. Gandhiji, our own Gandhiji, proved it that you can fight violence with non-violence. So I don't romanticize war. I don't romanticize soldiers. And if kids are not going into the army, more power to them. There's a way to diplomatically solve issues. It's more possible now than ever before. I don't think anybody can afford a war anymore. Unless you're in the Middle East trying to gain oil and you have allies. But right now, we can be potentially in a very peaceful space, even with China and Pakistan and India and everything like that. There is still a possibility. And so I don't know, like this, the only reason why I did this series was because we spoke more about the human tragedy, the effect on the individual and the family and the community, rather than the fact that war is a good thing or that we were so brave in that battle. We lost that war. There's nothing to scream and shout about. We won the one battle, but we lost the war. So the whole reason for me to endorse this was to say I'm very anti-war. My favorite war filmmaker is Stanley Kubrick, and he has disgust for war if you look at his movies.
That's a very, very interesting point of view. But I expect nothing less than interesting from you, Abhay Deol. Fantastic. Anup, we've got to talk about the ladies. Diversity and inclusion. I mean, they're not in this interview, but just the ladies in the film. A few of them, if you could just talk about them, please.
See, we all know we have Mahie Gill and a couple of other. I don't remember the names because I didn't have scenes with them.
Whoever you had scenes with.
I will take the lead from what Abhay said. That women are very important. That's what the series talks about. Yes, the soldier is fighting at the border for his own country. The whole romance of being a Fauji and all that. But I think what the family goes through, back home, that is also very, very important. If we can come into a situation where there are no wars, then I'm sure we'll have plenty of money to spend on other important needs of our country, especially a country like us. We need more money on certain other things rather than just buying weapons and planning for war and all. But yes, as this film talks about the jazba of war, the jazba of the Fauji, the jazba and the love for your country, but at the same time, the pain and pathos of the women also who are sitting at home waiting for their families, their mothers who are waiting for their sons to come back, and wives who are waiting for their husbands to come back, girls who are waiting, children who are waiting for their fathers to come back. So it talks about that also.
ब्यूटीफुल. आप तो भाई आकाश देश के हार्ट थ्रॉब बन गए थे सायराट के बाद, उसके बाद लव स्टोरीज के बाद लव स्टोरीज के बाद. मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि इसमें क्या रोल है, मतलब कुछ हैं कि नहीं शेड्स रोमांस के इस फौजी के, किसको पीछे छोड़ के जा रहा है युद्ध में?
जी नहीं, मतलब ये रोल चूज करने का मतलब वही तो रीजन था. मतलब सैराट के बाद क्या हुआ कि मतलब हर एक को वही चाहिए था कि रोमांटिक बॉय चाहिए था, इनोसेंस, क्यूट, वही चाहिए था. बट मैं उसी के लिए वेट कर रहा था कि चलो अभी कोई अच्छा मिले, और उस वक्त मुझे ये रोल ऑफर हुआ था. और मुझे लगता है कि ऐसा हर एक्टर का शायद सपना होगा कि उन्हें एक बार तो आर्मी का रोल करने को मिले. और उसके बाद जब महेश सर ने मुझे ये बोला था कि ऐसा रोल है, और फिर हमें मतलब जब मैं स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ रहा था तब मुझे पता चला कि शुरू में बहुत अलग कैरेक्टर है, और जब लास्ट आप एपिसोड पे जाते हो तो उसका कैरेक्टर इतना चेंज हो रहा है जो आपको सीरीज में देखने को मिलेगा. और वो करते वक्त मुझे सच बोल रहा हूँ बहुत मतलब बहुत एंजॉय किया मैंने, बहुत मजा आया मुझे।
तो
एक तो
मतलब
आपको सीन में,
कोई रोमांटिक ट्रैक है ही नहीं, ऐसा
नहीं
नहीं
वो
है
तो
कि
पता है ना सर आपको, इसमें हर एक ट्रैक है। हर एक मेरा मतलब है, रोमांटिक है, एक्शन है, सीरियस है, एंग्री हूँ, हर एक कैरेक्टर इसमें है।
So just a little bit about this Major Saab, Abhay. Your
Hmm.
reading of him and how you've played him, please.
Well, he's a devoted husband. You know, he's a loving father. He's extremely loyal to family and country. He's brave. He's not afraid. Um, Everything you'd want in a leader, so to speak. You know, you do see vulnerable sides of him, obviously, as you get into the family life and all of that. When you see him with the family, you see the man, not the soldier. And then when you see him with his soldiers, you see you know, the soldier that he is as well.
And your wife in the series is Mahie Gill, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Who
reuniting
you
with
worked with
Akash
before? Who you worked with before?
on Dev D, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's been a while since we worked together.
Yeah.
I love
Another
her.
yeah,
She's
fantastic
just
actress.
so fiery. I mean, you see how fiery she is in Dev D. This is not a role where she is meant to be fiery, so you see a completely different side of her. But she has this sense, this rawness about her, which I don't think she's aware of herself. It's just her, and it just comes out so beautifully. Yeah, I was a pleasure working with her again.
Lovely. Anup, do you have a favorite war film in Indian cinema or in the West? And why do you love that film?
I think whenever any film, I'm an individual or an actor. I like drama. I like films. So I am not someone who will be who's a big fan of a science fiction film or something like futuristic film. I like drama. I like human emotions. So for me, war film or no war film, emotion is the most important thing. In fact, when we are talking about this character, I remember when Mahesh ji told me this role, and I got those breakup of the episodes, and I was reading it. I said, "Yeah, role hai, theek hai, but there is no conflict in this role. My character doesn't have any conflict. He's there, he's doing stuff, but what is his own conflict?" So I told Mahesh ji, I said, "Sir, ये तो कुछ इसमें मजा नहीं आ रहा, मतलब वो वाला." He said, "नहीं आ रहा, there is no conflict. I completely agree with you, but this is a role which is more of a supporting role. He's got this little tussle between Major Suraj, which Abhay is playing. So there is a little bit of I won't say rivalry, but there is a subtle competition, which you call a healthy competition, because they both are in the same rank, and he feels that he's more capable to lead this battle, but the battle has been assigned to his character. So he's there supporting. He never. So I thought, okay, if this is the take on the role, let me play this as supportive as possible. So let me come across as that character. So I personally, like films which deals with a lot of human emotions and drama. I like those kind of films. So I, I I am not very fond of war films also, but if yes, if there's a lot of emotion, like I remember when we saw this, my father showed me this film Hakikat, which was based on the same story, Chetan
Superb.
Anand's Hakikat. I think it was again about a lot of emotions.
Akash,
Anup, you should watch Doctor Strangelove with Stanley Kubrick. It's a comedy on nuclear war. You
I
wouldn't
will.
expect the two words together. Be patient. I don't know if you've seen much of Kubrick. He takes a little while to set the mood and tone, but once he does, I mean, for me, I've loved his
No,
his
no, I
his
will. I will. I
pace.
will definitely.
But
I
you
will
should
surely.
watch it, and it's Peter Sellers in a triple role.
Oh,
Um, it's got Peter Sellers in it and a very young James Earl Jones.
and Peter
But
Sellers in a war film.
in a war film, and it's a comedy. But
Okay.
that's what Kubrick was a genius at. I mean, he made lots of war movies. He made Full Metal Jacket,
yeah,
the one with Kirk Douglas. I forget the name,
Yes.
but you just like he was so disgusted by war. Like his comedy reeks of disgust, and that's what's quite unique by it. You should check it out.
I
Like
will.
the ending shot of Doctor Strangelove is so apt for trumps America. So, that's how contemporary he is. And you
The
know
two
what I
things
mean
I'm
when
gonna
I see it.
two
Yeah,
things
I'm
I'm
not
gonna hang
say
on
it.
to that is one is James Earl Jones. I mean, to me, he's the godfather of the voice. So all these, a lot of people don't know this, but all
Have
these
you not
trailers,
seen it?
I haven't seen. I've seen Full Metal Jacket. I
Yeah,
can never
I've
forget the
seen it.
poster, which is just a helmet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what it is. And
But you
James
should
Earl
watch
Jones
that.
is the daddy of voiceovers. All this 20th Century Fox, Warner
Okay.
Bros. All that is his voice, even though he's an actor. So fantastic, great
Yeah, but
recommendation
what a
there
voice.
from Abhay.
Yeah.
Akash, border
sir.
देखी आपने?
जी सर
Border.
No, I mean it was landmark है JP साहब
पता
फिल्म
चल
यार. हाँ?
शायद आपको पता चल गया होगा मैंने क्या बोला था
नहीं मैं ऐसे ही पूछ रहा हूँ यार.
मतलब मैं बचपन से मैंने मतलब वही सपना रहा था मेरा कि आर्मी में जाना है और ये करना है तो मतलब वही सब्जेक्ट मेरा फेवरेट है कि अगर वॉर की कोई भी फिल्म आए मैं छोड़ता नहीं था बचपन से हर एक फिल्म मैंने देखी है और मेरी लाइफ की फर्स्ट फिल्म जो मैंने बड़े स्क्रीन पे थिएटर पे देखी थी वो थी बॉर्डर और वो मुझे हमेशा याद रहती है मतलब मुझे अभी भी याद है कि वो कैसा था और उसके बाद जब मैं स्कूल में गया था मुझे याद आ रहा है कि मैंने सब फ्रेंड्स को बता रहा था कि मैंने इतने बड़े टीवी फिल्म देखी और ये किया तो वो मेरी बहुत अच्छी है
Lovely. My time is up. Thank you very much, guys. Abhay, always such a pleasure. Anup, wonderful. I look forward to seeing you again, you guys. And Akash, बहुत अच्छा लगा. Take care. Have a good and safe day. Bye bye. Cheers.
Bye, Hrishi.
Bye-bye.
Bye.